Ben ritrovati lunedì mattina su Florida New York Stock Exchange. In questo momento indici tutti in territorio negativo, continua quindi la fase di ribassi che riguarda soprattutto alcuni settori tra cui la tecnologia, ma ne parliamo con il mio ospite qui sul floor. Come vedete è Kenneth Polcari, che è il direttore delle operazioni sul floor per O'Neil Securities. Kenny, ben ritrovato.
Hi, how are you?
I am very well, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So Kenny, we obviously the sell-off is continuing today after what we saw on Friday. Technology, biotechnology, internet today, it's really down, pretty heavily. What is going on? Just it's not a panic selling.
No, it's a rotation, right? We're seeing the rotation out of the growth names, these names that have really outperformed. Some stocks up 50, 70, 80%. And now as we move into second quarter and the earnings season, which starts really tomorrow, you've got some investors and traders that have decided, it doesn't make sense to not take some money off the table in anticipation of what's supposed to be a weak earnings season, right? It's not a surprise. We've been talking about the weak earnings season. We've been talking, estimates we've seen have come down. The market has started to adjust for that. And so it makes perfect sense. And you see it happening not only here, but you see it happening in markets around the world, right? Asia was under pressure last night, following in on our action from Friday. Europe was lower today. Again, it's the high-flying names that are starting to come under some pressure. Makes perfect sense.
Do you think it will be an extended phase? We have, from people very optimistic, they say that we might see 6 to 8% down in the next few weeks, to very pessimistic people that are saying 30% it could be in the cards.
I'm not nearly that pessimistic. I do think it's not going to be out of hand to see a 6 or 8% correction. I don't think it's going to get much worse than that, because the fact is, I think as the market starts to correct, a lot of the money is shifting back into the value names, right? And when you think about the future, you think about the global turnaround, infrastructure names, financials, industrial names are all going to be stocks and companies that are going to benefit from a global recovery. And so therefore, I think what you'll see is the market find support in kind of the broader big cap names in those sectors.
Especially because, as we know, probably this earnings season is going to be weak because of the weather effect, but the weather effect will be gone in the next few quarters. So
right, but we've already accounted for the weather effect, right? We've been talking about the weather now for 3 months, and the estimates have come down because of this weather effect. So I think what you'll see again is I think you'll see companies either make or slightly beat these new reduced estimates. I think the companies that miss the estimate completely, they will get punished, as they should. But companies that meet or beat the revised estimates then won't get punished so bad, because they've already been kind of repriced based on the knowledge that they expect weak earnings. Like this week, is going to start earnings season. Now tomorrow's funny. Alcoa was always the first Dow stock to report. Alcoa is not a member of the Dow anymore. So actually the first stock to report in the Dow is JP Morgan, and that's coming on Friday, right? And so we saw actually some financials have been coming under some pressure. This quarter is not supposed to be good for the financials. Top line revenue is supposed to be down. Mortgage business is expected to be off. Trading revenues may be off, and so it's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be an interesting show to watch, right? We're going to see how they're going to justify all this, and are we going to see more cost reductions, i.e., layoffs as a result?
Also that we have seen a big IPO activity in the last few weeks. This week is supposed to be very busy. We might reach like 16, I think, IPOs this week. But do you think it's at a good time? Especially, we're talking about this big sell-off,
right,
and the market might even go down and down and down this week. So it could be a right moment for that.
Well, it's interesting. I suppose it depends on which sector you're really in, right? If you're in kind of the social media space, I don't think it makes a difference at all, because social media seems to be hot at the moment, right? If IPOs are priced correctly and demand, and the investment banker kind of assesses proper demand, then IPOs should be okay. And the IPO market is actually an interesting place at the moment as big asset managers look for new opportunities, and IPOs actually create those new opportunities because they're new issues, they're new stocks, there's excitement around them. And so if the IPOs are priced correctly, then IPOs should actually hold in all right.
Now, the economic calendar is pretty slim this week, but we are really waiting for the FOMC meeting. Probably the details that we might have is about the fact that the Federal Reserve gave up the 6.5% unemployment rate target for the interest rate. What are you looking at, and what do you expect from the minute?
I don't think you're going to get anything new out of the minutes. It's just kind of going to be a rehash of everything that she said. Now, what's interesting is, don't forget, in the early part of the month, last month, she gave one kind of presentation. And then a week later at a private speech, she gave a complete 180-degree turnaround and gave kind of a different impression, which is what caused confusion in the market. But yet a lot of investors and traders thought that was her way of signaling that rates, that they were going to ease back on the taper, and boom, they took the markets to new highs. In fact, I think that was mistaken. I don't think the Fed is going to ease on the tapering. I think they put their foot on the gas, and they're going to continue to taper. I think that's what you're going to hear. I think some traders might be looking for some holy grail in the middle there. I think they're going to be disappointed.
So we'll see. Thank you very much, Kenny, for being with us.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
E grazie a voi per l'attenzione e a domani.